So we're going to carry on with some more examples of range and more about loop counters. So range is much more flexible than just giving us the numbers 0 up to 10 or 0 up to 20. Don't have to start from 0. So if you give it another value, so if you just give it one value, it will give you the numbers up to that value. If you give it another value, it will give you the numbers from that value up to the second one. So range 26 produces the sequence 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the start and that's the end. And you don't have to increment by 1 every time. Okay, so if you give it 3 numbers, then the third number controls how big the increment is each time. So range 0 up to 10. So if you think about it, range 10 would give you the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Range 0, 10 would give you the same things. Range 0, 10 with a 2 as the third argument would produce the sequence 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's adding every time every next number in the sequence has 2, is incremented by 2 and not by 1. And of course it stops when it gets to 10, so we don't get the 10, same as before. That's the start, that's the end, and that's the increment. And you don't have to count upwards even, so you could start at 5 and count down by -1. So 5, 0, -1 starts at 5, goes down by -1 every time, so 5, 4, 3, 2, and it stops before it gets to the last value, so it won't give us the 0. There's the start, there's the end, there's the increment. Okay, so there, just to prove that works, there's the examples in code in one of the examples in the download, so you can print them out and see what they're doing. Okay, it's very common. Let's talk a little bit more about loop counters. So it's very common, as I say, to start from 0 and run up to, but not including the loop limit. So as we saw, for counter in range 4 gives us the values 0, 1, 2, 3. So this loop limit is 4. It's specified as an argument to range, and the values, as I said, are 0, 1, 2, 3. The loop will run 4 times, but with the loop counter values being 0, 1, 2, 3. But provided you're not using the loop counter inside the loop, so you're not doing anything with that value, like printing out, then you could just start at 1, that's fine. Okay, so this would give you exactly the same result, whatever you were doing inside the loop. For counter in range 1 up to 5, that starts at 1, so it would give us 1, 2, 3, 4. So the values of counter 1, 2, 3, 4, the loop still runs 4 times because it doesn't give us the 5, the limit. And sometimes beginners prefer this because it makes more sense. We normally, as humans, we normally count from 1 and not from 0. Computers always count from 0. What we'll see next week is that loop counters start for a reason and start from 0 for a reason, because they're often used with lists, and lists start from 0. Okay. Either way, you should get used to using both of them and be able to interpret what they mean. And the simplest way to work out what values the range function gives you is what you need to be able to work out what the range function is giving you. Okay, let's have a quick check. So, how many times will the following loops run? For I is I in range 3. Okay, give it a second, and the answer, of course, is 3. So it gives you the values 0, 1, 2. For I in range 4, okay, how many times? It'll run 4 times. 0, 1, 2, 3. For I in range 1 to 4, how many times will that run? Quick think, and the answer is 3, because it runs with the values 1, 2, and 3. So if you just take the second one and subtract the first one, that will give you the number of times. What about this one? How many times will that run? Have a quick think. And the answer is 2 times, because in this case, the number gets incremented by 2 each time. So it starts at 0, and the next time around is 2, or the next value in the sequence is 2, and then it stops at 4 before it gets to 4. So we get the values 0 and 2. This one, how many times will this run? Well, if you listened to me a couple of seconds ago, you'd know that would be 1, because if you subtract the first number from the second number, that'll tell you how many times it runs. Assuming you've got 2 of these values, so it'll give us the I is 2, but it won't give us I is 3. What about this? Okay, the answer is it won't run at all. That's a bit of a trick question because it starts at 4, but it stops before it gets to 3. Okay, well, it can't get to 3 by starting from 4 and adding up 1 each time. So it never runs. Doesn't give any values. Range doesn't give any values, and so this loop doesn't run any time. Trick question. What about this one? Okay, same answer. So notice I'm saying 4 is greater than or equal to 3. 4 is greater than or equal to 4. So it runs while the value is less than while the first value is less than the end value. Okay, so 4 is not less than 4, so it runs 0 times. What about this one? 40, 0, minus 1. I think it runs 40 times. Okay, it runs 40, 39, 38, down to 0. Okay, again, same trick. You can subtract the first from the second, but because it's going down by minus 1. Actually, if it's going down by minus 1, you can subtract the second from the first. Okay, I think we'll finish there, and I'll get on into talking about more loops in the next video.